Hello, my name is Christopher Nicholson. I'm your instructor this semester for database concepts, which is 1303. Trying to decide whether I want to make this specific to the semester or not for the future. I'll make it specific to the semester. It's fall 2021. So the reason I'm saying that is because I wanted to let you guys know I have two sections of this course, and they've been combined into one in Brightspace because you're going to both have the same material. And it makes it just a bunch easier. So my background: this is my third year. This is the beginning of my third year teaching at Pellissippi. I've had database concepts to teach almost all along. It's probably at least the third time I've taught it. My background is I have a Bachelor of Arts in French with a Religious Studies minor from UT, Bachelor of Science in Computer Science from UT, and a Master of Science from Georgia Tech. So I want to minimize myself here. I don't usually have face recordings in this class, though I do make a lot of screencast-o-matic recordings where I show the screen. Usually don't even have this thing in the corner, but I'll leave it up for today. The reason is because on the first day I like for you to connect the face to a name so you have some kind of idea. Anyway, so this is the Brightspace course for all my sections, so you can see how it says W01-W02. So those are the two sections. First thing is, this is an asynchronous online class, which means that you don't have any scheduled time where you meet with the rest of the class. You'll have deadlines, though, so don't think that you turn everything at the end of the semester. That's not how it works. The deadlines typically are 1 week, sometimes 2 weeks. You'll know. All that will be laid out for you, so you'll know ahead of time. Typically, it'll be Mondays when new material comes out. And Monday is also when the material's due. So what I'll do is I'll overlap a day because I know a lot of people will put things off to the weekend. And you might not be able to get in contact with me on the weekends. More than likely you can if you send an email, but it depends on what I'm doing. I might have things planned for the weekend. So making it to where everything's due at the end of Monday, usually. That might change every now and then, but usually it'll be the end of Monday when things are due, and it'll be the beginning of Monday when new things come out. So that gives you a day buffer if you have final questions about finishing up your assignments. I would recommend you start as soon as they come out instead of waiting till the weekend, but that's how it is. So first thing you want to do is log in to Brightspace. You want to check your announcements. I'll make announcements periodically. I wear this thing out, but I don't want you to get scared because I try to use it only when it's needed, but it's needed quite a bit. So I'd say an average of once, maybe twice a week, I'll make an announcement. Some weeks I might make 3, some weeks I might just make 1. I try to at least announce when the new module or new week is out, at the very least on Mondays. But there may be updates like, oh, there's a little something wrong with this assignment, this is what you need to do instead, that sort of thing. So check your Brightspace frequently. If not every day, then almost every day. Check your email. I'd say check your email every day. Your school email. Send me email from your school email too, so I can respond to that and keep it within the FERPA regulations. I'll explain what that is later if anybody has any questions. I will say this too. Don't use this stuff. I'm clicking on it. Hovering over it right now. Don't use this messages in Brightspace because I will get it, but it makes it a lot harder to get back to you, and it might delay responding to you if you do use that. So just use my Pellissippi email account, and I'll put that in like the starting document. So for this week, I haven't got all this set up yet, but I will by the time this video is watched by you. There'll be a little start information stuff here. So you want to start here. This is the start here checklist. I'm trying to see, that might change some of these items, but yeah, I'll have to add the welcome video here. But most of this stuff will probably stay. So the number one thing I want you to do, this is the number one assignment, and this is the only one that won't be due like a week after it's assigned, is introductions. So there's this introductions discussion board, and I'm just going to show you how to do it actually right now. What I want you to do, if you look at the general description, here we go, introductions, I give you a guide on how to fill this out. So what I want to do is copy it, and this is might be what you do too. Copy this, and then go to the actual introductions form, which is this link right here, and start a new thread. Put at least your last name, preferably your first name. You can put like what you want to be called by or not right here. So, but start a new thread with this subject. That's your name. And then paste in, for me, I just pasted in because I've already got my answers. But you could like delete all the stuff that's not bold right after the colons and fill in your stuff. So put your name at least. What you prefer to be called by. Frankly, all this other stuff is optional. I recommend doing it because it helps break the ice. If it seems like too personal to you or something, that's fine. Don't put it, but at least put these couple of things. And the reason why you want to do this is because once I read your post, I'll give you a grade on it, and this is how I will count you present for the semester in this course. So sometime in the middle of the week, they'll want to know who's shown up or not, who's a no-show, and I need to report that to them. And this is how I need to do it. You have to do something substantive in a class to attend it. You can't just log in. You need to actually do something. So in this case, you're going to get a little participation grade, and you will get a grade. If you don't post, you get a 0. If you do post, you get full credit. And this goes into the participation part of your overall grades as 100. Right, or however many points I give to it, but full credit. I think I'm going to put it here just in case I don't put it somewhere else. My email address is cjnicholson@pstcc.edu. Please use that, and please use your pstcc.edu email address to contact me so we can keep everything within the school. So your name, what you prefer to be called by. You can leave out if you don't want people to know your real name. Obviously you need to put like probably your last name. If you don't, you could just put what you prefer to be called by, maybe if you want to do that. Something interesting about you, I was telling everybody, like I never knew what to put here. There are things I thought were interesting, but I didn't think anybody else would think. I think this is kind of interesting. So 19th century, I don't mean the 1900s, I mean the 1800s. 1894, 1898, 1899 were my 3 grandparents, and then my dad's mom was born in 1907. So I think that's kind of strange to have people from 2 centuries ago, albeit very late in the century, but still. So something like that. You don't have to. What I try to do is respond to everybody, and if you put something interesting there, it's a lot easier to respond. And you can put more than this if you want, but this is a good like standard bare bones. But please do this as soon as possible, so that I can count you present for the semester. It's very important. The rest of it in the start here, it'll tell you somehow at some point how to get here, but in the future. And we like to put this, just so people know how to get started with the semester. But in the future, what you would probably tend to do is this. Let me, I can't show you because the dates aren't set up right. But I've got it opening up on Monday, so I won't be able to see it if I pretend I'm a student here. So you'll go to the weekly activities. Let me start over again here. I didn't talk through this. So you'll log into your course. So I recommend pinning them. You see how you got the 3 dots? You can click that and pin or unpin. But I've got the 3 Brightspace sections that I have this semester pinned, so I don't have to see the clutter of everything else. But you want to click into the course in Brightspace, and then you want to click on content. And I don't think I'll change the name of this. In another class I used modules because it's not always 1 week, and these are not all of your assignments are 1 week, but I think I've got them spread out over the week, so we'll probably stick with week. But whichever week it is, and you can see I've got these begins here. Some of these, especially later on, might change by week, depending on how midterms and fall break work. But if you click on the week that that's starting, you'll have this checklist. You'll have these other things here too. They're just there because they need to be available somewhere in the content of Brightspace, but you can always, the checklist will always be at the top for the week. And this is my policy for the checklist. If it's not in the checklist, you're not responsible for it for a grade. There's a couple other things that help you get the grade that are here. So there's grade stuff plus a little bit extra usually. But anything you have for a grade, and I don't think there's any exception to this. If there is, I'll make an announcement about it. But if there's anything you need to do for a grade, it will be in the checklist. It won't not be in the checklist. So you're always cool with the checklist. You probably do want to look at some other places in Brightspace for supplemental stuff if you need some help, extra, things. But if you're responsible for it for that week, it will be in the checklist. So, for instance, in the first week, you do the start here stuff, and then you have a couple of things to read in the textbook, and I'll talk about that in a second. The slides are here, so I put this in here because you really should look at them, but it's not a grade thing, right? And neither is the reading. Neither is some of the start here might be with the discussion board or whatever. But this thing right here is a grade. So complete the Excel practice exercise, and it's not due January 25th. I need to change that. Can I do it right now? Yeah, clear. There we go. I'm going to try to put the due dates just on the drop boxes so I don't have them in two places, but we'll see. So watch this video, and in this video I guide you through how to do the Excel exercise, which if you click on the Excel exercise, it'll take you to the spreadsheet. So I forget where, I think I talk about this in the video. So if you have any questions, look in the video and it'll explain everything about spreadsheets versus databases. Spreadsheets, you'll hear this again, but spreadsheets, Excel is not a database. But it's often used quite a bit with databases for moving data around between databases and stuff, especially from one organization to another, that sort of thing. And anybody who's worked with data probably knows what I'm talking about. But Excel itself is not a relational data. It's not a database management system. It does have data in it, so you could call it a database. And then there's this whole thing about information versus data, another video that you'll see in the coming weeks. But let's not get off into the lecture already. And you'll need to have both Access and Access and Excel for this semester. You only need Excel for the first exercise, but you'll need Access for the first half anyway. And then we get into some Oracle stuff in the second half, and I'll let you know about that later on. So as a Pellissippi State student, you have access to Microsoft Office 365, which should include Access and all that. So this gives you instructions about how to obtain that for you so you can do the work in this class. So ideally, you'll get all this set up in the first week. And I hate the way you navigate in Brightspace. I always get lost. So I sympathize when that happens. But yeah, weekly activities, go to the week, and then make sure you do all the items on the checklist. And what I try to do, if it's linkable, I'll put it in the checklist. And this is what it won't look like this to you. You'll have a box to check off. But these links, let me know if any of them are broken. I think they should be okay. I try to put the stuff that you need to do as links also in the checklist, so you don't have to go away from it too much. But if you'll notice also in week one here, there's some of the things that are referred to in the checklist, and then the videos and stuff will also be here for you to look at. And these PowerPoint slides, I do recommend that you download them and view them in PowerPoint, because the way they're displayed in Brightspace is kind of ugly, but it's up to you. Notice that there's a Dropbox here, so you click on the Dropbox and it takes you to it. It's just going to look different for you because it'll have a place for you to upload it. For me, this is editing, right? I don't see what you see. Anything else? My dogs are probably about to start to bark. MindTap. So in the past, we've used some MindTap exercises. I forgot where I was. Someone came home, so I didn't want the dogs to be barking in your ear. So I do know that I haven't talked to, MindTap. So in the past, we've used MindTap stuff. I've only used like one thing the last time I taught it, and I decided I'm not requiring MindTap. It says that on the syllabus, but we are using that textbook, which is an excellent textbook. I think this is an older edition of it that I have. This is like decades old, across editions, of course. And it's an excellent textbook on databases. So yours might not actually look like this if you buy the book. If you do buy the book, that's fine. It's probably very expensive. If you get an older edition, I can't guarantee everything lines up. But reading the material in this textbook is really good. I will maybe take some exercises out of it, but I'll present them in a way that you don't need the mind tap. Now, if you do have mind tap, you should be able, if you like have the mind tap subscription or whatever. I'm not a student, so I don't have to. I can just get into it because I'm an instructor. It's for free for us, right? So I'm not always sure how it works for the students, but I know you have like a subscription or whatever. We can have so many courses. If you do use that and you get them into the mind tap course, which I'll show it to you here, you should have a copy of the textbook that you need. I shouldn't say should. You will have a copy of the textbook that you need, and you can just read it in there. And you see I have links to the mind tap here that give you, like for this reading, if you click on this, should take you directly to that reading. So you have to, like, if you're doing the mind tap way of doing it, then you'll have to, like, log in with your credentials and you use your subscription to get into the course or whatever. But then these links should work for you. I might have to update some of them, but I think they're working now. So, and you notice this is a sort of table of contents after, so this is the textbook right here, and you can read it on MindTap if you want, and you have access to MindTap, or you can get a physical copy of the book, but make sure it corresponds the same. Make sure it's 13th edition, volume 2 or whatever. Make sure it's that edition if you do get a physical copy of it. Either way, as long as you can read the textbook, that's all you need. You don't necessarily need MindTap for all this stuff. Now, if you do have MindTap and you want to do all these like exercises and looking through the appendices here, and if you go to the different parts, say part 1 here, go to module 1, you can see there's like lots of activities that help you understand the concepts more too. That's perfectly fine. It's a good supplemental resource for you, but I'm not going to require anything in here. So you don't have to do any activities in MindTap aside from reading the chapter if that's the only way you can read it. And again, it's not bad if that's the only way. As a matter of fact, I kind of like for textbooks flipping through them, honestly, but also if you're going to read a textbook, this is a pretty good way to read one. So if you want to read it on a screen. So I hope that answers questions about MindTap, as long as you have access to the textbook text. And it's the current edition that's listed in the syllabus. So look at the syllabus, actually. That's the other thing we need to do. Ideally, this wouldn't be a 30-minute welcome video, but it usually turns out to be. So let's see what goes on. So course resources, this is in your start here. Here's the master syllabus. I might add a supplemental syllabus, we'll see, but this gives you all the information about what you need. So database design, implementation management. So this textbook, you can get a loose leaf version of it. Just make sure it's that 13th edition version. Now, if you get the MindTap, again, you can read the textbook in MindTap, but you don't have to have MindTap for the other stuff in MindTap. So I'm going to not do that this semester. So I hope that takes a little bit of the stress off people, because getting MindTap to work for some students, and it's not no fault of their own, because it's not the most intuitive thing. So testing procedures, 50% of your grade, laboratory is 40%, and then other stuff is 10. So I'll let you know what participation type stuff, discretionary points, if like you're always participating, turning your things in on time, you'll just get full credit on that by default. There's at least 2 tests. Let's see what the requirement is. Actually, it doesn't say, does it? Evaluation, a minimum 2 tests recommended. So not required, but I will have a midterm and a final. The midterm has a hands-on, right now, this may change, but it has a hands-on component too. See, there's like 2 parts you submit together. Yeah, I hope that covers the syllabus for you. If you have any questions about the syllabus, use that email address in my discussion forum post, and I'll put it somewhere else for you to find too. I'll put it in several places. Office hours. I need to get rid of this because this is not correct. But when we do have office hours, it'll be located here in the course resources. And when they're correct, this is not correct. I might actually not change it. We'll see if these are good. If I decide these are good times, I might keep them. But they'll be online. They won't be in my office as long as I'm forced to wear a mask. So if I'm vaccinated, so I'm not wearing a mask. And I'm not sure. I shouldn't get into this, but I'm not sure it's enforceable anyway. But so we'll have, and this is an online course anyway, so the office hours should be virtual. But what I have so far, if I keep it the same, is I'll use Calendly, and I'll put the available times in here, and you guys sign up for a 30-minute. It's 1 hour per day, weekday. I'll have 2 sessions of 30 minutes each. Sign up for one, and the reason I want you to do that is because handling more than one person at a time on Zoom or whatever could be a pain. So it's better if you schedule it out. So if somebody's already taken one of the 30 minutes, you'll be able to get the other one. And I haven't found it to be a problem in the past because hardly anybody comes to office hours. I recommend that you do. Once they're not set yet, it'll be a couple weeks before we set that when the schedule settles out. But once you know what the office hours are, I'll make sure they're in the course resources and maybe somewhere else in the course. It seems like people get lost on where they are, but if it's like any overall information about the course, it's going to be here in course resources at the top. So go there and find out and I'll make an announcement too. Once the office hours have been decided on, I'll make an announcement. There's a bunch of other stuff in here that may not. I need to check some of this stuff actually to make sure it's up to date. But I'll have some extraneous things, exam reviews when it comes time for that, and I'll make announcements about all this stuff. So again, read your announcements every day. Well, stay on top of Brightspace pretty regularly, like 2 or 3 times a week, at least 3 or 4 times a week. But read your email every day, because if I make an announcement, I'll probably go to email. Get the Pulse app if you know what that is. Brightspace Pulse in Google Play Store, and I'm sure it's in the iPhone, whatever you call it for iPhone. If I make an announcement, it'll usually give you a notification on your phone, so you can just read it there. It's not the greatest for doing your course content, in my opinion, like doing activities in Brightspace, but it's good for seeing what announcements are. So I recommend getting it. I won't technical support it though, so that's up to you. Never had anybody ask me to in the past, but just let you know. All right, so this video will go up. It'll be in the announcement here, and I'll make some links to where you need to get started. But just review so you know, like from this video, to help you out interpret what you're seeing on the screen. What you'll need to do the first week is, it's going to all be in week 1. It's under week 1 checklist. And let's see if I remember what you need to do. You need to post in introduction forms as soon as possible, not at the end of the week, as soon as possible, so I can count you present for the semester. I have to wait for Brightspace to load this stuff. Read the chapter 1 stuff, look over chapter 1 slides, but the main thing is the introduction post, and then by the end of the week, do this short Excel exercise just to kind of get your feet wet. And then once we do that, we can get started with Access in the subsequent weeks. All right. Welcome to the semester. Hope you have a good semester in all your courses. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know by email.